Lightweight backpacking isn't just about buying lightweight gear. In this video, I'm going to show you guys how you can easily drop 5 to 10 pounds off your base weight without buying any new gear. For those of you new to the channel, my name's Iron. I spend over 100 days a year backpacking and photographing remote areas of the Pacific Northwest. If you like backpacking, subscribe. Let's jump into these ultra lightweight backpacking tips. When I first started backpacking, I would bring a lot of gear that I would think maybe I might need, but the reality was I found out I really brought a lot of stuff that I never used at all. And I see a lot of beginners do the same thing. So what you can do is, when you get back from your trip, look at every single piece of gear that you brought and say, hey, is there something I did not use at all? The odds are you probably won't ever need it. The only piece of gear that I bring backpacking that I don't use regularly is my first aid kit. That's it. Everything else I use on every single trip. So just start taking note. Learn to bring exactly what you need. And if you have a few luxury items that you like, bring those. Those are things that you are using still. Just really try to analyze everything in your bag. Bring only what you need. All right, you guys, one of the easiest ways that you can cut the weight of your pack down is to not carry too much water. 1 liter of water weighs 2 pounds. It makes no sense whatsoever to buy any lightweight gear if you're always carrying too much water. And I see people do this time and time again. I rarely ever carry more than 1 liter of water. The only exception to that being a dry camp or hiking long waterless stretches. Anything, I would say 6 miles or less, 1 liter of water is more than enough for me. Another thing I like to do too is camel up. So when I get to a water source like this one, I will just chug, maybe like half a liter of water and take off with just like a half a liter of water. We've been passing water sources every half mile, every mile. I'm not worried about any shortages. So one thing that you can do, check the map before you take off and see if there's any creeks, rivers, lakes. If you're continually passing good water sources with a full liter of water or more than a liter of water, you should really be thinking about not doing that. Water is super heavy. I've seen people carry 2-3 liters of water on backpacking trips with me. Showing up to camp at a lake with multiple liters of water, and I watch them struggle. It's almost like some people are scared that they aren't gonna, that they're gonna run out of water. Some people might find it inconvenient to filter water. Well, why don't you plan to have your breaks at water sources? Doing that will kind of, it's not as much of a hassle if your backpack's already off and you're taking your break at the water source. All right, you guys, multi-purpose gear is your best friend when you're trying to cut down on weight. So, something I see a lot of hikers will have, a stove, a bowl, a cup, a spoon, and a fork. All I carry is my jet boil and a spoon. This is my only utensil. I cook my foods in this. I drink my coffees out of this. I eat my soups out of this. So I've been backpacking for close to a decade now, and I'm still figuring out ways that I can cut down on things. I was carrying a Kindle around for like the last couple years. I just found a Kindle app for my phone. It's not quite as good as having the Kindle itself, but it's good enough, and it's worth the weight savings for me. Yeah, your floss can double as thread in an emergency situation where you need to repair your gear. Just really try to think about how you can use one piece of gear for multiple different tasks. Another good tip, leave the deodorant back at home. Leave it in your car. I've seen people bring sticks of deodorant on the trail, and number one, nobody cares how you smell out here besides yourself, odds are. Number two, the scent of your deodorant will attract animals. Those animals could be critters, bears, just things that you don't want around camp or around your stuff. Carrying a spare shirt or pair of boxers to change into, totally unnecessary. I'm on day 5 of a 5-day trip right now. Me and my fiance up there, you know, we've been wearing the same pair, and just try to buy clothing with antimicrobial properties. I've noticed some people like to bring an extra pair so they can wash a pair and then let a pair dry out. But I found in my personal experience that if I want to wash my shirt or my boxers, what I will do is I will change into my shorts. So I'm going commando as I wash my boxers. And then I will just put them on wet. And the heat from my body will actually dry them out faster than they will dry, you know, just trying to air dry them. Same thing with my shirt. So, you know, I am still able to wash my clothes on longer trips. Yeah, I mean, if you look at, you know, almost any thru hiker, they don't bring, you know, that extra pair. Especially on a 2-3 day trip, totally unnecessary. You know, leave a change of clean clothes back at the car. That's a solid move. That way when you get back into town, you know, nobody has to smell you, where it actually matters. But, you know, we don't really care too much about that, do we?
We didn't bring an extra pair this time, though, because at the trailhead where we park, it's pretty known for being broken into. So we didn't want any extra bags in the car.
All right, you guys, another really good tip is to bring lightweight backpacking food. And what I mean by that is food that has a high caloric value. So I usually try to shoot for foods that have at least 100 calories per ounce for the most part. So think nuts, chocolate, oils, butters, things along those lines. High fatty foods tend to give me a lot of energy, and per ounce, you can't beat them. With that said, another thing that will really help you out is to strategically plan out the food that you bring. So before any trip I go on, I lay out every single day's worth of food. And that really helps me, you know, not bring too much food. So I've got an example of a day's worth of food here for me. This is what I'm eating right now on this trip. I've got my breakfast here, and this is a blend that I created, and it's full of nuts, coconut shreds, just a bunch of really good fatty foods. This small bag here holds about 800 calories worth of food. And then a few snacks to get me through the day here. Got a bag of cashews, a turkey stick, and this actually is only 70 calories per ounce, but it's a very small part of my diet. Cliff Bar. I've got my dinner here. This is full of butter powder, cheese powder, super high in fat, beans, a bunch of really good stuff. This dinner is just packed with calories. And then I've even got a little bit of olive oil to add to it. And then even my coffee, I mix with coconut milk powder, which is super, super high in fat. So, while this might not look like a lot of food, I weigh over 200 pounds and I hike all day long. And this gives me more than enough fuel to just be able to, hike all day and feel good and be stoked. If you guys want to know more about exactly what's in my breakfast meal, what's in my dinner, I've got a bunch of awesome free recipes that you can find on my website. I'll leave a link below in the description. All right, you guys, another good tip here, sharing gear with a friend or partner. You know, maybe you guys can share a toothbrush or a sleeping bag. Or if you're really close, maybe, you know, you could just share a stove or a water filter. Obviously, me and Trish share a lot of gear, but, you know, when I backpack with other friends, you know, I'll share tents, stoves. You know, maybe one friend carries the stove, one friend carries the fuel. You know, just stuff like that. I think Trish went on a trip with, like, 2 of your girlfriends. Didn't you guys, like, all share a 3-person tent?
Mm-hmm. Yep, we split up the stakes, the poles, the tent. We shared a stove.
Yeah. So that's a good one. Collaborate with your friends before you go out. And yeah, if you're hiking by yourself, sorry. Not sorry, I hike by myself all the time. It's awesome. Alright, when I'm trying to go super ultra lightweight, maybe like a 1-2 week trip when every ounce really counts, I leave my stove at home. I love stoveless backpacking. I don't do it all the time, but when I really need to cut every ounce, I do. So make sure you guys check out my video about stoveless backpacking. Another thing that I always do, I repackage disposable items. So those would be things that you use on every single trip. And I'll give you an example of some of the things that I always use. Toothpaste. You can either, you know, carry a full tube from the house, or you can try to buy travel-sized ones. The problem with that, though, is, you know, you're gonna get like down to the bottom of your travel-sized one. You're gonna have to buy another one, and no, bad way to go about doing it. I found these just little containers, and you know, depending on how long I go out for, I'll just put, you know, how much toothpaste in here I need. So not only does this save you weight, it saves you money. So that's a win-win right there. Even my floss. I've got this little tiny floss holder here, and when this runs out, I will actually open it up, and I have a bigger thing, and I will refill it. Toilet paper. Do you really need to bring a whole roll? Yeah, even my hand sanitizer. You know, I've got a big bottle at home, and I'll just refill this when I need to. And my sunscreen as well. Really love these small Nalgene containers. They're really leak proof. I'll put olive oil in these, sunscreen. You can put sauces. Yeah, you know, kind of whatever you want here. So yeah, repackage anything disposable that you can. Finding little containers, reusable containers, it's a really good way to go about doing it.
And say there's an old chili thing.
One more thing here. This is an old chili paste container I had, and you know, I put my coffee in this. It's not really leak proof for liquids, but it's excellent for powder. So, you know, I'm actually hiking out right now, so you can see I miscalculated a little bit, but yeah, you never want to run out of coffee. All right, you guys, so I'm gonna end this video with, you know, be an ounce counter. You'd be surprised how much certain things weigh. I own a small food scale that I use to make all of my own backpacking meals, and you know, just weigh things. It's a good way to compare certain items. Yeah, if you guys have any questions about these tips, about anything backpacking or photography related, leave a comment. You guys are awesome. Thanks so much for being here, and I will catch you guys on the next trail. Peace.
Nailed it. You nailed it.
Does that sound good?